Hello everyone. So today I want to explain you about the Docker. So basically, this Docker is a virtualization software that is used to develop or deploy the applications in a much easier way. So in order to explain this in detail, right? Okay, let me take a new page. So basically, when you see the image itself, you will understand that it is some kind of a ship and there are some containers inside it. So what does this containers have? Basically, it is an analogy to a ship containers. What this container has is the application. Before Docker, we used to use virtual machine. But what is this virtual machine? Virtual machine is a software which will be installing using an ISO image. For example, you have a system which is a Windows operating system, and your application which you want to deploy is kind of Linux, need a Linux environment, but yours is the Windows. Now, what you will do? You will install a virtual box, and using the ISO image you will install a VM, and inside this, for example, this is Ubuntu. Inside this Ubuntu you will try to deploy your application and run your application. But what is disadvantage of this is it is having the large size in GBs, and it is also taking some time to run, right? CPU utilization is also high. And what another thing you have to do is before running this application, all the software updates, versions, everything you need to check, packages, manually you have to install everything. Sometimes you may not get the particular ISO image which is compatible to this application. Then even you have this application handy, you will not be able to host this application or run this application. Then also, like, why it is consuming more size, I will tell you. So basically, on top of your existing operating system, you will be again creating another operating system which has both the kernel layer and the application layer. Basically, to install it and you to run it, it takes more amount of time and space. So instead of this, we have an alternative called Docker, which is basically on your operating system, you will be just having the application layer of OS. Basically, this Docker is just like a VM, but instead of you install the applications dependencies manually, you can the container, right? The Docker container itself has all the dependencies. It has the Docker container has like a particular operating system. On top of it, installations, required packages, all dependencies, and then your application will be there, and then you can specify a command to run application. Basically, a container has all these things. Once you just run the container, you can able to host the application, right? You can able to host the application. Now basically, what is this container, like how we will be able to manage these containers. So basically, in this Docker, right, there will be this Docker file which you will be creating for specific application. For example, you have the files and all, like file 1 and all. Inside this, you will be creating a Docker file. Using this Docker file, right, create a file called Docker file that has specific commands. Using this Docker file, you will be create an image out of it, and from the image you will be running a container out of it, and then application is ready, right? So that's all. Like, these are the few steps. Now to do this practically, I will show you, but before this, right, I need to, okay, I'll just show you, like no, I will just explain few concepts and I will show the practical things. Basically, there is one registry called Docker Hub, which is an open source, means everyone can use this. Okay, how does this process happens generally is, there is this project code, right? From this project code, using this project code, for example, I have a Python related project, then I will create a file, Docker file, which has the Python related dependencies and all. Along with it, how you will run application and all, you will specify using the commands, common commands. Using this Docker file, I will be creating a image, right? Image. This image is important. Using this image, I can either run a container out of it, so it will run the application. Also, to save this image into the repo, like we have GitHub, right? How we will do, we have GitHub where you can save your code in a cloud repositories, right? Instead of in your local, you are saving in the cloud. Similarly, images also can be saved to Docker Hub, and one can access these images. So I'll show you how this Docker Hub is also present. So there will be different kinds of images, official images. You can able to push your images to Docker Hub, okay, and so that your friend can able to pull that specific image, and then he can run the container. Now, while he pulls the image and runs the container, then need not to run any or install any specific software, because it will have all the commands to install the required software, right? It has. So that's what. So basically, this is like the whole concept which you will be doing. Now I will show the practical implementation to you.